Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring journalist, influencer, and now author Carrie Berk. Carrie is just 20 years old and already has a life's worth of accomplishments under her belt. It's no wonder Bella Magazine, our dear friends at Bella Magazine, declared her an ambitious and dedicated boss babe. And the Wall Street Journal, they dubbed her as a community minded young creator. She's verified content creator with over 5 million followers over all of her social media platforms with a combined monthly engagement of more than 100 million. Carrie is currently a reporter, a contributing writer for the New York Post, Page Six, Huffington Post, Newsweek, Decider, and so much more. That's just to name a few. She covers topics ranging from beauty and style to celebrity and sports. If that wasn't enough, Carrie has co-written, are you ready? 21 books to date for three best-selling children's book series: The Cupcake Club, Fashion Academy, and Ask Emma. Her most recent accomplishment is her solo debut book, My Real-Life Rom-Com, which is a guide on how to build confidence and write your own relationship rules. She joins me today to chat all about her new book, dating tips, and balancing her many roles. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Carrie, oh my goodness, you have so many accomplishments. At just 20 years old, you've gained so many titles and accolades. And I want to talk about this latest solo venture, My Real Life Rom-Com. It just hit shelves a few months ago.
Yes.
And I know that writing is nothing new to you, obviously, with having co authored 21 children's books, but co-penning your first book, Peace, Love, and Cupcake, back in 2012, that was the beginning of basically the rest is history. So how did you discover your passion of writing, and what made you want to pursue it as a career?
Well, I've always loved writing. When I first learned about realistic fiction in school in second grade, I just instantly fell in love with this idea of embedding real life themes into fictional scenarios. And my mom was a writer. She is a writer. I've watched her as I've been growing up type away at her computer so passionately. So one day I came home from school with this idea, and before we knew it, it turned into a mother daughter book series because obviously I was 8 at the time. I could not do it all by myself. And from there, it kind of just took off.
Well, you've certainly done a great job into turning that passion into a full-blown career, coming full circle. You're almost 21 years old. And that brings me back to your newest book, My Real Life Rom-Com. So let's talk about that. Now, this book is a resource teens can turn to for any and all questions and concerns about coming of age and love and heartbreak. I mean, you really sum it up nicely. But you started writing the book when you were just 16 years old on the day of your first heartbreak. Oof. Now, now, pages of diary entries turned into what eventually became chapters. Can you share with us more about what inspired this book, and what do you think writing this book was therapeutic for you to heal from your own dating experiences and heartbreaks?
So, when I first started writing this book, it was a form of self therapy. As you mentioned, I'd just gone through my first heartbreak at age 16, and I just started writing down everything I could remember. And I put that away. During the pandemic, I was turning 18, and similarly, I was worried the pandemic was going to go on for a long time and I was going to lose all of my memories, especially those related to love and the lessons that I learned in love. So I revisited that one essay I wrote when I was 16 after my first heartbreak, and I started writing more and more of those. And eventually, those diary entries of sorts, those personal essays, turned into a book. And I realized it was so much greater than just self therapy. This was something that could help a lot of people. You see, there's dating books out there written for teenagers, but most of them are written by experts or people who are a little bit older, which is great, but nobody understands a teenager more than a fellow teenager, especially this unique world of dating we're in the age of social media and in a post pandemic world. So I just wanted to level with teenagers and make them feel like they're not alone in their experiences and like they can relate to me. I'm not telling them how they should date, who they should date, simply sharing my own experiences and letting them take what they will from that.
It's incredible how you were able to turn your own experiences into something that others can learn from, and specifically that build both yourself and those around you up. So I think it's fascinating what you've done. Now, on another level, you've made it clear that age truly is just a number, because You are just so full of knowledge, and you're going to be 21 in 2024 of this year. And thanks to you, there's finally a nonfiction book about dating for teens written, to your point, by someone who so closely understands the dating scene and all the complicated and messy emotions, specifically at that age. Now, for those who haven't already yet picked up your book, what are three dating tips you can share with us?
My number one dating tip would be it always starts from within. We hear all around us, you can't love others until you love yourself. But what does that really mean? It ties in, for me personally, very closely to my anxiety journey, which I talk about in detail in my book. So I think when you're able to look at yourself in the mirror during those moments when you may not feel on top of the world and you're able to still love yourself, that's when you can extend love outwards. So I think number one is just working on self love and your mental health, tying in closely to that. Number two, just to be unapologetically yourself. Don't waste time trying to impress someone who you know isn't compatible. So just, be your authentic self and you'll find someone who loves and appreciates that. And dating tip number three, I feel like just have fun with it. I feel like dating today, we put so much pressure on ourselves to find the one and are often like desperately seeking someone on a dating app. But just have fun with it. I feel like, especially teens, when you're 16, 17, 18, these are the times where you can explore and learn what you like and you don't like in a potential partner. So just have fun with it and allow yourself to fall and make mistakes and just get back up again and get back into the dating scene because you have a lot of time.
Boy, you are an old soul. I'm sure you get that a lot.
Sometimes. I listen to classic rock music a lot, so most of the times I get it when people say
You're an old soul. Now let's chat about all the other hats you wear other than author. On top of all this, you're a journalist, you're an influencer, you're an actor, and an activist. How do you balance and manage your time between all these roles?
Yeah, I get this question a lot. I feel like just finding time for the things that make me happiest. When I wake up every morning, I ask myself that question, what's going to make me happy today? And I prioritize that. So this morning, I love sleeping late. I sleep till like 10:30. Usually this morning I got my booty up at 8:30 and I got on my Peloton bike because I just felt like grinding on the Peloton this morning. And then I focused on school because I'm still a senior in college. So today wasn't really a day for TikToking. It wasn't really a day for writing a lot. And that's okay because there are so many days in the week or 7 days to get everything done. So it's okay if you prioritize certain things one day and then the other day do everything else. It's all about finding a balance, but most importantly, just being happy and doing things you're passionate about.
You must be the mom of your circle.
The mom of my circle.
Yeah, I bet all your friends call you for advice.
Um, Sometimes. I'm also like the baby of my circle. So I feel like people often like look at me. I'm really young for my grade. I'm turning 21 and I'm a senior. So people see me as like the baby. So I don't think they call me for advice as much.
Oh,
But
really? Well, you sound like you are just full of depth and knowledge. Now, as a Gen Zer, you've grown up with great access to the internet, from experiencing cyberbullying firsthand to becoming an influencer with millions of followers. You've seen both the pitfalls and potentials of the online world. How did you gain your social media following, and how do you foster a safe and positive online space?
so I gained my social media following mostly in 2020 during the pandemic. Everyone was at home on their phones and tuning into TikTok. So I kind of jumped on that wave. I posted a fitness video, and overnight it just went viral. It got 10 million views to date. And I just wanted to create this space that tweens and teens could escape to, especially since the world was so crazy and a lot was unknown. I wanted to give them a constant in their life and make them feel comfortable that they could tune into my TikToks every day. And that was the constant in their life. They knew they could come and get these entertaining product reviews and, at the time, fitness videos. And in terms of creating a safe online space, I mean, my content is all positive, focused. I'm smiling in like every video and just showing fun products, keeping it light, upbeat.
I love it. I love it. Now, as a content creator, you've collaborated with top fashion and beauty brands and lifestyle brands, including even major platforms like Netflix and HBO Max and Walt Disney. And I mean, the list goes on and on. MAC Cosmetics, Alice and Olivia, Chips Ahoy, Dunkin', and so much more. How do you vet out the brands you work with, and how important is their social impact and activism to you?
I think most of the brands reach out to me, and I judge a brand that I want to work with based on if I would actually use their product. So, for example, Disney, if Disney sends me an unboxing, I love Disney. I'm such a Disney girl at heart. So, that was an instant yes for me. And MAC Cosmetics, I already use their products. So, stuff like that. I just look through and I see, am I going to actually use this product? Because I would never promote something to my following that I would never use, regardless of like how much compensation is offered for the campaign.
I love that. And what about social activism? Is that important to you?
Social activism, I mean, I feel like for me, the most important causes that I look for are, mental health, anxiety, anti-bullying, because that's what I've been an activist for my whole life. So if a company really, promotes those causes, I feel like that was an added plus.
It's very important not only to promote the proper organizations that are part of the sentiment or ethos of the company, and even for yourself as a content creator to align with, but it's also important to find brands that give back. It's extremely important in today's day and age to find companies that are socially active and sustainable, which brings me full circle to this segment. It's the Hydration with Heart segment, and it's brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. And that's one brand that I love. I love coconut water, and I can't wait for them to send you a supply of coconut water in all their cases. But the reason I really love this brand, outside of just it tastes fantastic, it's one thing to introduce premium coconut water that tastes better than anything you've ever tried before, but it's truly, truly something else, Carrie, and even at your young age of 20, 21, to give back to the communities and people that truly need it. And that's why for every case of Once Upon a Coconut sold, they donate 10% to a charity that they select each month, but they're very big advocates of the Down Syndrome Foundation of Florida, which I am a huge supporter of too. So I commend you for taking a stance up with the organizations that you stand behind and are active for, whether it's anti-bullying or mental health advocacy, because we need your voice as a Gen Zer to be able to have that lasting effect on generations to come, because we're all getting old over here. The moms and the dads of the world and the millennials. I used to be the cool one. Now you're the cool one, and we're passing it on to you. So it's your voice that we're going to be looking to.
You guys are still cool too. Give yourself some credit.
Well, I do my best. Now, before we wrap up here, what advice do you have to aspiring young writers?
Write what you know. And that doesn't necessarily mean writing about your life, but it's writing something that you know your heart is in. My heart isn't really in fiction anymore like it used to be. That's why I wrote my memoir. I'm slowly returning to fiction a little bit because I want to adapt my real life rom-com into a television series. More to come on that. But I feel like just focusing on what you love and what you're passionate about. Don't write something that you don't enjoy. And from there, you'll really produce something you're proud of.
You are such a go-getter. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on all your success. I hope 2024 is your year, because you surely deserve it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
That was our Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. That was the awesome journalist, influencer, and now author Carrie Berk. Be sure to check her out on all her social media platforms at Carrie Berk with 2 Ks. And her website is carrieberk.com. And definitely get your hands on a copy of her solo debut book, My Real-Life Rom-Com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.